Hey, listeners. This is Ryan.
And this is Kyle.
And the audio waveforms which are entering your oral cavity is...
The Doctor's Watcher, the Human Factor podcast about every episode of Doctor Who.
Ew, I hate the human factor. Humans.
Yeah, they're pretty slimy.
Humans. Right? Slimy and greasy and like squiggly.
Kind of stinky.
Right, usually. Well, you know, it's always good to kind of talk trash on the filthy humans. I think the rest of us in the galaxy understand why they're such pariahs. But
yeah,
we could start a whole other podcast on that topic. So how's it going, Kyle?
I'm doing all right. We're recording this, pretty early in the year, and something we've talked about a few times is going back to work after some time off, which is what I did this week. So, going back to work is not great, but the time off was pretty nice.
Indeed. Unfortunate about the work thing, but yeah, love me some time off.
Yeah, I spent, it was, holiday break basically out over the end of 2025 and the start of 2026. And I would say I spent my time probably, 15% doing holiday activities, 25% doing like house maintenance, house chores, like occasional projects, the kind that you put off for a while and then eventually you're like, fuck, I really need to do that. Mm-hmm. And then what's left, 60% mostly doing video games with some like reading books and some building Legos.
Nice. That sounds mostly pleasant.
Yeah, I think it was pretty nice. The video games I was playing were basically Hades 2 and Strange Jigsaws and Ball X Pit, or I think I may have heard that it's called Ball Pit, or like that's how you say it.
I heard that too, but there's definitely an X in the middle there.
Yeah. So yeah, it was nice. It was fun. Those are all good games. I would recommend all three of them.
Yeah. Per your recommendation, I played Strange Jigsaws and it was pretty rad. Nice little self-contained game. Not super long, but great puzzles.
Yeah, I think it took me like maybe 4-ish hours.
Yeah,
maybe
same
4.5 or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of fun puzzles. I don't want to give like too much away about it, but like I'm not even really that into jigsaws generally, but that's not really what the game is about. It's just a bunch of different kinds of puzzles that are sort of jigsaw themed sometimes.
Right. It was, some of those puzzles were real brain twisters too. Like, they had some pretty intense, like I got most of them, but I definitely had to rely on the help feature a few times for sure.
Yeah. I actually didn't notice if there's an in-game help feature or not, because I just immediately went to the internet. But when I went to the internet, when I got stuck, I found that the website of the publisher has like a real nice hint guide where you can like, click down into like the section of the game that you're in and the part that you're stuck on and like, first reveal sort of a vague hint and then reveal sort of like a more direct hint and then reveal like, this is the fucking answer to this puzzle.
Right. Right. I shouldn't have called it a feature because it's really just their website.
Oh, you just went to the website too. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Nice.
Yeah, but that was well laid out. Yeah, like with different levels of vagueness in case you don't want to like totally spoil yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just at up front, like a hint is nice. Yeah.
So yeah, that game was a lot of fun. Hades 2, of course, is like roguelite action game where you're fighting through enemies with, each run you can have like different weapons and you get different boons from the gods and goddesses. And, as a roguelite, your character gets stronger each run every time you die and have to try again. And then there's also like, sort of long-term overarching story elements involving like talking to the different characters between runs and figuring out like their different relationships and backstories and helping them out with their things and whatnot.
Nice. Yep, I enjoyed the first one. I haven't done number 2. Well, I did this morning. I haven't played Hades 2 though. But it looks good. I think I'm just holding off because I know I'll play it eventually. I'll probably get it on sale or something.
Yeah, and it's very similar gameplay to Hades 1. There are, different weapons, and I think it's kind of more heavily magic focused than the first one.
Cool.
There's at a certain point you can choose between like 2 different paths for the run. Are you going to, what I think of it in my mind is like, is this going to be an upstairs run or a downstairs run? That they go through like different areas and, have different end bosses and shit. So.
Oh, cool. It's fun.
And then, of course, I know you've also been playing Ball Pit or Ball X Pit.
Yeah.
Which is
Balk's Pit. That's fun.
Sort of, I guess, Breakout inspired or Breakout like. It's kind of the genre of game where you're progressing upwards through the level as enemies progress downwards, and you're just kind of like continuously shooting at them. And, you can like configure pick different characters that have different abilities and unlock a different power-ups and whatnot. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm not sure yet, but I may have hit the wall on that one. Like, I don't think I've unlocked like most of the characters, but not all. There's, I think, 1 or 2 left. And I think there's at least 1 or 2 levels I haven't unlocked. I got like, I got pretty far. There's like a hell level, and then there's like a heaven level. And I think there's more after that, but I haven't gotten past the heaven one yet.
Right on.
But yeah, definitely some of like, especially the characters, like their uniqueness is very interesting. Like, there's your standard guy who just like shoots a group of balls wherever you point them over and over. But then there's like one that's like, oh, these ones are actually twins and they shoot 2 balls at a time. And, pretty much you're controlling the angle on the left ball, and then the right ball is the 90-degree difference, or not really that, but it's like the mirror of that angle
of it.
Right. So you're kind of shooting left and right at once.
And like, since you're shooting 2 balls at once, each ball is like, does half damage basically compared to the characters that only shoot 1 at a time. Yeah. So it's like, there's all sorts of weird differences like that. There's one guy that like shoots all his balls at once in like spread pattern, and there's, I don't know, I don't want to, of course, spoil all of them, but there's like one that only does like the powerful balls and not the standard like baby balls that all the rest mostly do. Yeah, all sorts of cool combos, cool different upgrades, cool. Like, another fun thing is how you combine the powerful balls. Like, if you get like, I don't know, a fireball and like I can't
really remember the combos off the top of my head. You might combine the fire with like a wind ball. So it's like a firestorm that's able to pass through the enemies, but it lights them all on fire.
Yeah,
stuff like
that shit's cool. Like the evolutions.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah, and like every time that you go to combine some balls and it's like an evolution you haven't seen yet, you're like, yes, awesome, can't wait to see how this one does.
Right. Yeah, that's the main fun for me too. Like new evolutions, new characters, new levels is kind of fun, but they're sort of more of the same.
Yeah, I think sounds like I'm not quite as far along as you. I think I probably have maybe half a dozen characters unlocked, maybe more like 8 or so. And I probably have like, I don't know, four or 5 hidden levels that I haven't gotten to yet. I got to, is it the mushroom level after the ice level? I think that's where I'm at.
I think so.
Or the deepest I've gotten.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's well crafted. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like a super long-term game, but it's definitely fun for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, before I played it, I was like, that doesn't sound like super amazing. I don't know how into it I'll be. But then I tried it and I'm like, no, actually, this is like pretty addictive in the short term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like even the one thing I noticed was like even the sounds, like, you know, when you destroy one of the baddies, like it makes a pretty satisfying little sound.
Yeah.
Or you can get an upgrade where like sometimes or most of the time they explode when you kill them, and that one's even more satisfying.
Yeah, I get that upgrade like pretty much anytime I can, like partially because it can be nice and powerful, but partially just because it sounds great.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, there's a lot good about that. That was well made.
What have you been up to?
Oh, well, get a bunch of work done on the house. It's almost done. Probably by next time we record, it will be finally finished. So that's cool. There's a guy working on the bathroom tile right now, or I think he may have been finished for the day almost when we started. So anyway, that'll be nice when it's finally over. I've been playing Balk's Pit and Strange Jigsaws as well. I got this new game. It's pretty fun. It's very similar to FTL, if you've played that.
Oh, nice.
It's called Void Wars. So it's pretty similar. You know, you're flying a ship through kind of different situations, making your way through this galaxy. But it's like this weird, like if it was post-apocalyptic in the whole galaxy. And like there's all these strange cults, like there's a techno cult, and then there's like some weird, I don't know if you'd really call it a cult, but like some weird situation where sometimes ships get taken over by a demonic entity, and it's like you'll fight this ship that's already empty of air, and like there might be some kind of demonic little guy running around on the ship, but the main thing is like the ship has this strange brain, like that's one of the ship's systems that's controlling it, and it can kind of like heal itself and stuff. So it's fun, like it's unique, and I enjoyed FTL, and this is kind of a fun spin on it. But yeah, I don't really know if it's a long-term game.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I played a lot of FTL. It's been a long time, but yeah, that was a great game. I should probably check out Void Wars.
Yeah, it's definitely entertaining, and yeah, for sure, I loved FTL. But yeah, other than that, still reading the Dungeon Crawler Carl series on book 5 now.
Nice.
Super excellent. No spoilers. Read it, listeners. Trust me. Been watching an older show, The Leftovers. It's been fun. Very weird, symbolic, kind of apocalyptic too, in a sense.
Yeah, I watched that myself like long time ago, and I don't remember it that well now because it was a long time ago, but the main thing I will say is that I watched all 3 seasons, every episode, and I don't think I ever actually decided whether I liked the show or not.
Yeah, like I like it. It is weird. The characters are likable, at least a lot of them, and then some of them, are enjoyably not likable. It's got the first new Doctor Who in it, Christopher Eccleston. He plays kind of a bonkers, like, preacher type dude. Yeah, I'm in season 3 now, the final season, and yeah, just I enjoy all the weird shit that happens. Like, a lot of it's kind of like real world type situations where it's like, okay, yeah, let's see how this thing would play out. If XYZ happened in the real world, like, how would people react to that? And then sometimes it's like, now we're going on a trip to the underworld to to like conquer this spirit thing. It's like, what? Cool. Okay. So that's been fun too. And then of course the new Star Trek, a couple episodes are out now.
I haven't seen episode 2 yet, but I actually liked episode 1 quite a bit. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, same here. I saw them both and I enjoyed them. I'd say episode 2 maybe is a little weaker, but not too bad though.
Right on.
I like the sort of basis of it. Like, the main characters are pretty cool. The one thing that bugs me, of course, there's almost always something lately about the new Treks that it's like a little annoying. And that's the fact that it's like teen coded. They're like, oh, what now, bitch? It's like, really? Like, do that. You can do that, but do a future version.
Yeah, that's
like,
fair.
I don't know, like, make it creative or something.
Like, this is the 32nd century, I think, is when it's supposed to take place. So
right. Yeah.
But yeah, they basically, ever since Discovery did their time jump into the future, like, they kind of, in some sense, never really did the world building to actually set it 1,000 years in the future, or 600 years in the Star Trek future.
Yeah,
like, it kind of just was the same but with different, fancier technology.
Yeah, and like,
some
slight
backstory
differences,
stuff.
like, yeah, like sometimes Klingons aren't always aggressive, or sometimes Vulcans can now have emotion, or it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, it's fine. Like, the teen attitude stuff, I appreciate the idea that, maybe that's kind of universal and it's going to be happening in the 32nd century also. But, make it more future-y, make it just different.
Yeah.
Like, why are they doing 21st century slang and stuff? Like, stop that.
Yeah.
But like, there's one character that's like what'd she call herself? They preferred like positron beings or something, but basically she's like a hologram, like a living hologram.
Photonic, I think it is.
Photonic, that's it. Yeah. She's a fun character. She's kind of like just weird and like unhinged a little bit because she doesn't quite know how to act and stuff.
Yeah. In the first episode, it's a lot of fun how she's like basically fangirling out about the Voyager's doctor.
Yeah, that was rad. And he was like weird about it, of course. Or there's like a Klingon dude named Jaden who's kind of like all like peaceful and kind of like a quiet guy,
like sensitive.
Like reserved and like quiet.
Yeah, he's been great so far. I love that we have a Klingon who's like into bird watching.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I'd give it probably like 7.5 out of 10 so far.
Right on.
Something I'll definitely keep watching. unlike the recent animated one, which I was like, meh, after a few episodes.
Yeah, that's fair. I ended up watching it, but it took me a while to care enough, basically.
Mm. Oh, one interesting thing I noted, which is relative to this podcast about the new Star Treks, like the very, very beginning, there's like a kind of an animated thing where it goes through like a lot of the different ships and
Right.
says Star Trek 60 because it's like the 60th anniversary. The music that plays during that is very Doctor Who theme song-esque.
Nice. I hadn't really noticed that, but yeah, I can definitely hear that.
Yeah, that's what it made me think of. It's kind of got that dun 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 sort of cadence.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly how it goes now, but like it made me think of Who music.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind when I watch episode 2.
Cool. Well, speaking of episode 2, I think we're actually on episode 3 of The Evil of the Daleks.
Indeed, which is episode 39 of season 4. And do you want to remind us of the Cliffdingler?
Yeah. So the Doctor and Jamie had gotten zapped into apparently the Victorian era, which is fun because there's also a character named Victoria. And they met some characters from there, which were explaining that the Daleks are doing some kind of experiment on humans. We see them doing this to the character Victoria, for some reason, weight shaming her into trying to maintain some certain weight for some reason, which I think is undisclosed. And then Jamie gets conked on the head by a seemingly random ruffian, as well as the maid Molly that he was talking to. And when the Doctor kind of catches up to where he was, he's gone and Molly's just there unconscious. So I can't remember how they figured it out, but they figured out that Jamie is like, a key to the Daleks' experiment plans.
He's basically, what the or who the Daleks want to use as their test subject, functionally.
Yeah. So the Doctor is, of course, sleuthing about now, looking for Jamie, and at the end of the episode, we see some Daleks chatting with each other. I think just announcing that their plan is about to start moving ahead.
Yeah, in like the weird final scene that they probably should have just cut, but
right, we already knew all that.
Yeah. So yeah, we pick up with the Doctor and Waterfield, who is, there's a few different characters back here in the Victorian area. Waterfield's the guy whose daughter was abducted by the Dalek Victoria. So he is checking on the unconscious body of Molly, like trying to see if she's okay or whatever. And he's like worrying and fretting about finding Jamie so the Daleks don't get more pissed at them. But while he's just kind of like worrying and not really doing much, the Doctor is actually pulling his dice out and rolling investigation checks and actually trying to find clues. And he does find a clue, which is a piece of straw. We cut over to Jamie and the scallywag who kidnapped him. And they are in the straw in the stable, basically, or in a stable. And Jamie's like recovering consciousness obviously this guy had like knocked him out in order to kidnap him, but he's waking up. And then a third man enters the stables. It's a dude in a nice suit. I honestly don't remember if we've met him in episode 2 or not, because it was a while ago that I watched episode 2. But there's this dude here, and he starts talking to the kidnapper, basically. We learn that the kidnapper's name is Toby, and Toby demands payment, but the rich dude in a suit doesn't seem to know what Toby's talking about, or like doesn't seem to think that he owes Toby any money. He ends up like giving Toby a coin anyway, and Toby leaves. And then the rich dude like grabs his head suddenly as if he like has a huge headache, and kind of holds his head for a few moments and then kind of gets back to normal. But as soon as he's back to normal, he asks Jamie where Toby is, and Jamie's like, you've just fucking paid him off and got rid of him, dude. He starts asking Jamie about Victoria Waterfield and like where she is, and Jamie's like, IDK, bro, like, I don't know why you're asking me all this shit, like, I don't fucking know. And dude gets another like brief but intense headache, like grabs his head again for a minute, and then he introduces himself as Arthur Terrell. And when Jamie mentions that like he was just asking him about Victoria Waterfield, Terrell is like, oh yeah, she's like in Paris.
But he just like a minute before he didn't know?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah. So yeah, he's acting all weird. Doctor shows up in the stables. I guess he figured out that's where the clue of piece of straw leads to.
That tracks.
Uh-huh. When he shows up, Terrell leaves, and Jamie's like,
he's mad, stark steering mad. Yes, I know, I was listening.
But the doctor tells Jamie that he actually knows what happened to Victoria Waterfield.
She's a prisoner of the Daleks.
And that's where we cut to. We get a brief scene where a Dalek is ordering Victoria to like pack up her shit and come with it. She's apparently being moved to a different room.
Do not be afraid. You are not to be exterminated.
Uncommon to hear Dalek say that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, personally, I don't know how much I would trust that necessarily.
Right. Like when someone's like, don't worry, I won't kill you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it definitely feels like, oh, I am absolutely not doing that thing. Uh-huh, sure.
Right.
But then on the other hand, like the Daleks would just say, you are going to be exterminated if that's what they were planning on.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it is trustworthy.
I guess it's at least like a step up.
Yeah. So she gathers her things and, kind of starts walking slowly down the hallway of the mansion or whatever, looking out windows and stuff. The Daleks just like hurrying her along, telling her to keep moving and shit. Meanwhile, back in a different room, Waterfield is upset at the doctor because the doctor told Jamie about the Daleks and like he wasn't supposed to warn Jamie at all. But the doctor's just like,
Oh, fiddlesticks! Bosh! Jamie will cooperate. You may be certain of that.
Bosh and Fizzlesticks.
Uh-huh. But what the doctor doesn't know is that Jamie's actually, for some unexplained reason, hiding out and overhears this conversation. And he seems like pretty upset about it, that the doctor's like hiding shit from him and, expecting him to like go along with things and whatever. In the laboratory of this fancy mansion, Maxtable is at work. He, of course, is the guy with, the big mustache and beard. And did I call it like muskox hair, something like that?
It sounds right. Yeah, something like that.
So he's working in his lab when a Dalek comes through the sort of mirror portal cabinet that he built. Remember how he was like investigating time travel and somehow that turned into like projecting a mirror image into the room, and somehow that turned into like using static electricity, and then a Dalek appeared?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You
Yes.
don't want to fuck around with static and mirrors, I guess.
Uh-huh. So yeah, they have this weird mirror portal cabinet that a Dalek comes through, and it tells Maxtable that Victoria has been moved, and Maxtable tells the Dalek that everything else is ready, and he says that the Dalek is going to be like really into this dude that Maxtable had specially brought from London for this whole thing or whatever. And he explains to the Dalek that this dude, Kemel, is dumb, like both in the sense of not being able to speak and in the sense of not being very smart. And he kind of implies in a very 1960s sort of way, without really directly saying it, that Kemel has like, he's developmentally disabled. It's unclear if that is actually what he means, but that's definitely the implication that I got from what he was saying.
Huh. I mean, it sounds a little bit less distasteful than probably a lot of 60s characters would have put it.
Yeah, that's fair. The Dalek is just like,
Show me!
so it rolls back to kind of hide in the mirror portal cabinet and watch from there. And Maxtable calls for Kemel, and this dude in traditional Turkish clothing comes out. So he's wearing like kind of loose red pants and like kind of, slippers with like a curly toe or whatever. And he's got like a blue sash tied around his waist and like an open yellow vest and like a red fez, and then these like cool bracers on his arms.
This guy sounds pretty rad, actually.
Yeah, totally. He's bald. He's got like mustache and beard and stuff, but like a cool mustache and beard.
Nice.
So Maxtable hands him an iron bar and tells him to bend it. And like first Kemel tries bending it against his knee and he can't seem to do it. So he actually like puts it behind his neck, kind of across his shoulders, and like tries bending it that way. And, he like really strains, and we see like animated sweat pouring out of his animated forehead because we're watching the animation. And then there's this like good sort of creak or groan sound effect as this iron bar just like totally bends. He hands it back to Maxtable, and Maxtable's like, cool, great job. Now here's a plank of wood set up across like two stools. I want you to break it in one blow. So Kemel like very easily does that. The DM doesn't even make him roll for it. He just kind of like does it. Maxtable then hands him a photo of Jamie, basically, and tells him that he's going to take him somewhere, and Kemel is to guard this area that Maxtable is going to take him to. He says that this dude in the photo is probably going to come try to get past, but he's an evil, cutthroat, murderous villain who Kemel needs to like keep out of the place that he's going to be guarding. So he leads Kemel off, Dalek kind of rolls out of its hiding spot and starts examining the bent iron rod.
I do enjoy the seemingly common concept of like, if a person is very, very strong, they will be very good at violence. It's like, not necessarily.
Yeah,
like
those
if you made
don't always go together.
Yeah, like I've seen, all these videos. They're kind of like gotcha videos from like the late 80s and early 90s of like, here is a bodybuilder, huge muscle man. Watch him attempt to fight this black belt. And like, of course the black belt just picks him apart every time. But anyway, that's a quick aside there. I find that hilarious.
Yeah, definitely. So Maxtable leads Kemel off to this dark hallway. It's lit by, kind of a candelabra mounted on the wall. And he tells Kemel that this is where he needs to guard. He demonstrates how, if you like pull the candelabra on the wall, it's actually the way that you open the hidden door into like the south wing of the house, basically. But he stops Kemel from going through the door because a moment after the door opens, a bunch of spikes fall down in the doorway. It's like, it's trapped. So he pulls the candelabra again, the spike trap resets, and then he leads Kemel through the doorway and basically tells him to deal with the dude in the photo if the dude makes it through the door. And then Maxtable leaves.
Are you struggling with the stresses of modern life? Here is an easy solution for all of your problems. First, relax. Then, open up your browser or your podcast listening device. Navigate to the Doctor's Watcher and begin leaving 5-star ratings. You will soon feel the stress begin to melt away. Once you begin sharing the podcast with friends and family, you will feel enveloped in a warm, calm, peaceful feeling. Relax.
Back in the laboratory, a Dalek is talking to the Doctor, telling him that it doesn't trust him, but he will obey it because they have his time machine.
Perhaps.
The Doctor confirms that basically Maxtable's idea in the previous episode was correct. The Daleks are, in fact, after the human factor. They want to figure out why humans apparently keep defeating them and then, put that into Daleks. They even have, a few Daleks here that aren't activated yet. They're still, in crates because they want to, use these as sort of the test run of the human factor, put the human factor in them before they activate them. The Doctor really doesn't want to help them, but he does really want to get his TARDIS back, so he agrees to it. The Dalek is basically just cool. Don't tell your bro Jamie about it, but get the test started. And then it leaves through the mirror portal cabinet.
That's strangely trusting.
Uh-huh. The Doctor still doesn't quite even really know what the test is, so he asks Maxtable what Jamie needs to do, and Maxtable says,
Attempt to rescue Waterfield's daughter.
Which, of course that's going to be the quest.
Right.
Jamie is in the sitting room where he has a whole series of visitors. First, Maxtable's daughter Ruth comes with Terrell. I guess they're like, the 1800s boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever you would call that, courting or whatever. Jamie and Terrell kind of bicker with each other for a minute, and Ruth says that she had hoped that they could be friends, like for her sake and whatever. But then Terrell seems to get another bad headache, and then he just kind of runs away, and Ruth excuses herself to Jamie and goes after him. And then Jamie's next visitor turns up. It's Molly the maid. Jamie insists that she call him Jamie. She keeps calling him Sir, but she refuses and continues calling him Sir.
What would the master say?
She starts asking him where his luggage is and explains how, she would take it up to his room because apparently the house is haunted. I'm not really sure what those two things have to do with each other.
Right. Is she one of the ghosts? Is that what she's saying?
They, the actual dialogue that I wrote down is...
Why do you say you'd be doing it yourself?
He's asking about carrying the luggage.
Well, they do say, sir, that the house is haunted. Mr. Kitts and the butler left, and Cook and the two footmen are complaining again.
Haunted?
But I've never heard anything, sir. I sleep like a log and always have.
So maybe it's that, she ain't afraid of no ghost, and that's why she'll carry the luggage.
Nice.
She goes on to talk about Terrell and how he's not too bad. He's actually pretty nice. And whenever he starts getting weird, she just says the word Inkerman and he gets better. Apparently...
Inkerman?
Inkerman.
Huh.
Yeah, I guess it's a battle in the Crimean War. And apparently Terrell got wounded in it. So presumably, I don't know if it's the anti-trigger word for his PTSD or
right.
quite how that works.
Yeah, being reminded of their trauma doesn't usually help people in my experience.
Jamie's next sitting room visitor shows up. It's the doctor, and Molly's in the middle of dusting, and she accidentally puffs a big puff of dust into the doctor's face, apologizes profusely for it, and then she leaves. The doctor starts giving Jamie a quick history lesson about the Crimean War, because it was after Jamie's time, but Jamie's being all pissy with him.
Jamie, you're in a temper. Oh, am I? Is that bad then? Does that mean I won't be cooperative? I won't do everything I'm told?
Bit passive-aggressive there, Jamie.
He reveals that he overheard the doctor talking to Waterfield, and he's upset about it.
You're forgetting that TARDIS was stolen and a man was murdered. Now, how am I supposed to tell when I see you as friendly as you like with a murderer?
I mean, Jamie, bro. You've been here before. The doctor sometimes gets friendly with the bad guys in order to thwart them.
Give him time to play his plan out.
Yeah.
The doctor, reminds him that Waterfield wasn't actually the murderer, like the Daleks were. And he also says that the Daleks, made Waterfield steal the TARDIS. Jamie is kind of starting to wonder if the Daleks are even really here, because he hasn't seen any. He basically accuses the doctor of cooking something up with Maxtable and Waterfield. And then his next sitting room visitor shows up. It's Waterfield. Waterfield vouches for the doctor's claims basically, but Jamie still doesn't buy it.
So you've got another story to tell me.
I tell you that the Daleks are holding my daughter prisoner in the south wing of this house, Mr. McCrimmon.
So Jamie, asks the doctor why he isn't doing anything about this. And the doctor's what the fuck can I do? Nothing.
Be fair, Jamie. Waterfield's tied hand and foot because of his daughter, and we're tied hand and foot because of the TARDIS.
But Jamie basically thinks that the Doctor doesn't really seem to care about anything other than the TARDIS. So he storms off. The Doctor, stops him as he leaves to tell him,
"Don't you try to be a one-man army. You leave well alone. I won't have you ruining everything, trying to rescue Victoria Waterfield. Now you understand?"
So, of course, soon as Jamie's gone, and the Doctor and Waterfield sort of have their, debrief, it's clear that this was all a setup in order to, set Jamie on the course of doing the Daleks test or experiment or whatever.
Very manipulative.
Uh-huh.
Once our young friend has cooled his heels a bit, he'll launch off on his own. And you dropped the hint about the South Wing beautifully.
Okay, yeah. Knowing that Jamie's already pissed that the Doctor might, not trust him or whatever, or questions his tendency to, maybe not do all the stuff he's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, kind of yanking his chain like that, and setting him up to, winding him up and setting him off like that. That's pretty rude.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, I guess maybe there wasn't a whole lot of choice, but damn, still.
Yeah. So we go back out to the stables where Terrell's waiting, and then the miscreant Toby shows up. He's demanding money again. He says that Terrell didn't pay him as much as they had agreed on. And Terrell basically tells him that he's not getting any more money. Maybe he should GTFO, go to London or something. And Toby's like,
"Oh, yeah, London, sir, yeah. I dare say I can earn something from me stories there."
So then, of course, Terrell starts getting all worried because obviously Toby is trying to blackmail him and, sell stories of what's happening at this mansion or whatever. But then in the midst of all this, Terrell suddenly has another headache. And while he's distracted by grabbing his head in pain, Toby just knocks him out.
Toby's real good at that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't know if it's a feat or a skill that his class has or what, but
right. It's something, some custom thing that the DM was like, yeah, okay. But now he's probably like, I never should have let him invent that.
Shit, what are we going to do about this?
Right.
So Toby's like, I searched the body. And he finds a bunch of coins and a key ring.
Oh, maybe I don't know much to tell, but I'll wager I'll find something in the house that's worth me trouble. So I'll say thank you, Mr. Terrell, sir.
Back in the sitting room, it's nighttime, and Jamie is back in here again, and Molly the maid shows up with a candle, and she gives Jamie something that he asked for that she took from Maxtable's study. It's basically house plans, a blueprint type thing. So he's looking at them. He locates the south wing, and she tells him that it's closed off because it had some repairs done a while ago, and it's just been closed ever since. And that the door might be locked, but she'll take him to it. So she starts leading him out. She asks what he's going to do, and he says that he's off to hunt a few ghosties.
Nice. He's like, oh, she ain't afraid of no ghost. I'll become the Ghostbusters then.
Uh-huh. We cut to sort of a lab or, workroom. I don't think it's the same lab that we've been seeing earlier. And the Doctor and Maxtable are looking at some Dalek machines that the Daleks have set up. There's a couple Daleks there also looking at it with them. And these machines will basically record all of Jamie's reactions and thought patterns, and the doctor's job will be
to select the major feelings to make up this human factor.
That's so non-specific, but okay.
Yeah, I think basically the idea is that he's gonna sort of identify whatever emotion Jamie is probably feeling at any given time, and then decide like whether that particular emotion should be added to the human factor or whatever.
Right. Like what's the criteria exact? Like, yeah, this is very sloppy work for the Daleks.
Yeah, seriously. So Molly leads Jamie to the hidden door to the south wing that we saw earlier. And then we cut down to Toby entering the house. He starts looking around. Obviously, he wants to like steal some shit. And he heads into the laboratory where he's checking out these big storage crates that the not yet activated Daleks are in, when an active Dalek shows up. Toby, of course, starts running away, but also, of course, gets film negativized.
Oh, man. I liked Toby.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, I guess the DM, like, just really couldn't think of another way out of it.
Right. Your character is too overpowered.
Molly and Jamie hear Toby scream. So Jamie, you know, they're like, that was no ghost, like that was a human voice screaming. So Jamie sends Molly back to her room where she'll be safe. So she leaves. He starts investigating the area and finds a candle and the tricolor matchbook that have both been like, you know, placed here. Basically, the Daleks and Maxtable and whatever are being good game designers and giving him a way to progress through the level.
Nice.
So he lights the candle, puts it in the candelabra, and in the process of doing this, activates the door opening mechanism. He's about to go through the doorway when a bat flies out at him, which, like, you know, delays him for a moment, which is just enough for the spikes to fall and not impale him.
Nice. Thanks, Bat.
So he kind of ducks under the fallen spikes, heads into the south wing. He goes down a couple of corridors and finds a staircase and looks up, and at the top of the staircase, Kemel is standing there. He's got his arms crossed and he's, you know, like glaring down the stairway. Jamie just kind of like starts going upstairs. He's all like,
Hello. Who are you?
And Kemel comes at him with his arms raised, and the DM's like, shit, guys, I just looked at the clock and I have a hard stop in a few minutes. We don't really have time for this combat. And the music plays and the words say Doctor Who, Patrick Troughton.
Nice. As a former DM, I have totally done that to my players. Very good way to like leave them wanting to come back the next week. Well, that's cool. I mean, it's, you know, for all the kind of slop that's going on, I do like the concept of the Daleks, you know, wanting to know, like, what is the human factor? Why do they keep winning? How do we get that? Although I do think it will be very, very funny if, for example, you know, the Doctor is smart. He probably could decipher their very vague instructions extract the human factor from Jamie by saying like it's this and this and it's that. Put this into your powered down guys and see what happens when they power them up. And then when they power the Daleks up, they'll have the human factor and they will go defeat the other Daleks.
Yeah, totally. And it seems pretty short-minded of the Daleks to like not have thought of that and not
right.
like not be expecting that to happen.
Yeah, like usually they're very good at machinations, but they kind of seem like, Jerry the Dalek, he's a little bit new in creating evil plans, and like they're trying to let him go, trying to let him learn his own lessons. But he's like making a bunch of missteps this time.
It's like, if we keep just I was going to say hand holding, but if we just keep like plunger holding Jerry through like every project, he's never going to learn and improve.
Right.
Or sorry, if we keep just plunger holding Jerry through every project, he's never going to learn and improve.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I doubt we'll see the follow-up for this, but I bet, a few episodes down the line when they eventually lose, someone's going to be saying,
"Put Jerry on a pip."
Uh-huh.
Actually, it wouldn't be Personal Improvement Program. It would be DIP, I guess. Dalek Improvement Program.
Dalek Improvement Program.
Right. Well, cool. Yeah, that was a good cliff dangler on this one. No extra exposition or whatever. Like, I guess Jamie could have like stopped there on the stairs and said like, "Oh crap, this dude's running at me. It looks like he's about to kick my ass." Like last episode. But yeah, good stuff. Rip Toby.
Yeah, totally. Pour one out for Toby.
Yeah. But overall good episode. Glad we managed to get, not too distasteful with the so yeah, cool. Any further notes on this one?
Yeah, I did have one note on actually kind of a similar note. So, of course, I'm watching the animation, but when I saw it, I was a bit worried that the original episode may have possibly featured, I will say, a white guy with artificially darkened skin.
Yeah.
But I actually don't think that was the case, which is nice. Kemel was played by a guy named Sonny Caldinez, who's Trinidadian.
Oh.
And yeah, apparently he was a wrestler. He also played some Ice Warriors, which are Doctor Who villains that we have not encountered yet. And apparently he was also in Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Fifth Element and various other films and shows.
Nice. This guy sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, totally.
Man, he must have been pretty old by Raiders and Fifth Element, especially.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in Fifth Element, he was like the old Egyptian guy in the first scene when they're like, uncovering the images in the pyramid and shit.
Yeah. Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
Dude's got a cool career. Well, that's pretty fun. One thing anything more to say about this episode?
No, that was it.
Okay. Yeah, because I realized as we were chatting that I forgot to give the opening joke toward the beginning. So,
oh, right.
Listeners, as a reward for listening this long, Batman and Robin were, sitting there hanging out in the Batcave, and they see the bat signal being projected on the clouds, and Batman's like, "Oh crap, Robin, let's, there must be some crimes happening. Let's go jump in the bat car and, go stop the crimes." So they get in the bat car and he turns the bat key, and, the engine kind of like clicks and makes a little noise, but like he tries a couple times and it doesn't start. And Batman's like, "Oh crap, Robin, I think, there's something wrong with the battery." And Robin looks at Batman and says, "Batman, what's a turry?"
Nice.
Yeah. You know what? Since I forgot the first, to say the joke at first, we'll do 2 jokes. What is the most aggressive type of pushpin?
I don't know.
Attack!
Nice.
Cool. Well, listeners, if you weren't totally turned off by these 2 horrible jokes, don't forget to, tell your friends and family so that they may be turned off by my horrible jokes, because it's always funny seeing someone just get utterly disgusted at a very, very dad joke.
Yeah, for sure. Like, that's much of the point of telling them.
Right, like that's the ideal outcome, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, hopefully we provoke that outcome in our listeners.
Yes, indeed. Cool. Well, thanks for describing that fun episode to me, Kyle.
Indeed, and thanks for listening to my description of that episode.
Pleasure. And listeners, thank you for also listening to my listening and Kyle's description of the episode. And if you have anything to say about it, you can either email us or contact us via Blue Sky. In fact,
Indeed.
I think we had a listener contact us. So yeah, just wanted to say shout out, David. Thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, thanks to David. That was a really nice email, and I was glad to read it.
Indeed. Well, cool. I guess I will chat with you in 2 weeks, Kyle, to see what happens with this Cliff Dingley fight.
Sounds good. And listeners, if you would like to hear the outcome of this Cliff Dingley fight, then come back in 2 weeks as well. Bye.
We do not trust you,
Then we quit, don't we?
but we have your time machine,
Yes.
so you will obey us.
They want the human factor. Is that right?
Yes, that is what they want.
Very complex. And you want to introduce this human factor into the race of Daleks?
Yes, the conquest of humanity has eluded us. The Daleks must know why.
But why choose Jamie for this test?
His traveling with you makes him unique.
But why him? Why not me?
Request denied.
Why?
You have traveled too much through time. You are more than human.
I see.